Bitcoin cryptocurrency video. It is Tuesday, the 18th of June, 2024. And Bitcoin is still looking pretty bad right now. We had another one of those moves yesterday that just got immediately retraced. This has what has been consistently happening over the past couple of weeks, where every time we do get a little spike up, it just creates a big dump afterwards. Usually, in this case, and what has happened previously, that Asia session. Okay, so we go through a good few hours throughout the middle of the day. This being because, like, you look at the Nasdaq and it's just on an almighty melt up. So tech stocks in general, indices in general, just melting up to create new all-time highs day after day after day after day. It is the fastest and the biggest move above all-time high that has ever really happened. And we're not even going into like rate cuts and everything like that at the moment. So we are seeing basically approaching peak bull market velocity on indices and within the stock market, and it's getting into that mania phase. But Bitcoin just cannot seem to do anything. There's just no interest in crypto. So this leaves us with a situation where every time that there is a slight move up, so all of these moves up are essentially new all-time highs on indices. The one that was from yesterday, it was a new all-time high. The one that was back over here was corresponding with a new all-time high. There was a new all-time high here. There was a new all-time high at the FOMC. There was a new all-time high after the CPI. Okay, so all of these events have created new all-time highs, but what's happened to Bitcoin is it's made a lower high, and then it's, as you've got these slight corrections through indices and just overnight, just rebalancing from the market, Bitcoin, crypto, altcoins dumped further. So very, very little interest here. The legacy markets is where all the action is. That is what I personally have been trading a lot more recently. And I am just waiting for this. So I am still of the opinion right now. I was quite bearish yesterday when I did the morning update video and when I did the stream. I am of the opinion now that we just see a long drawn out summer. Okay, and I do believe that we go to new highs after that, but I think time capitulation is probably what we are most likely to see now. I'm not expecting price capitulation. I do believe that has happened. All right, I do believe that the move down to 60K is the low, and I do believe that that will hold, but I think we could go lower. I think we could go into those low 60Ks again and start to fill out this space, even as low down as like 61, 62. And then we do still have some like poor lows down here at that 60K zone that could be taken. However, I don't think it's going to happen all in one go. I think maybe just more of the same. We may get a bit of a bounce before then. We may come back down and do this. And it's just this kind of, okay, staying in the range, that long, slow summer time capitulation event whereby Bitcoin remains range bound and just stays relatively stable, which is quite nice as a trader. Okay, we can just trade like the move up yesterday, relatively simple short position. We can take that back down again, taking out the lows and coming into this 4-hour gap that we have on the chart, relatively easy long position. And we can just keep trading it both ways and see how that goes. But overall, I think with altcoins, we're probably going to see more blood from them until there is a substantial bounce. And what we'll need to see for there to be a substantial bounce is simply to take out some highs, on this chart, and to start getting a bit of a recovery, maybe back up towards these 70K areas. Even if we do come back up there, I think they're still lower. I still think at this stage we stay within this range for a while, but I do think that there are bounces to come and that we could see some opportunities there. Now, when you're looking at this from a volume perspective, if we just put on our fixed range, okay, we can see we're below the POC. So we had that consolidation around the point of control most of last week. We then lost that POC, back tested it yesterday, came into an anchored VWAP from our FOMC highs, and are now seeing further move to the downside. Now, this does give us a target at that value area low and high volume node that we have here at 63. Okay, so this essentially, as long as we're below that point of control. I think just this move down towards value area low, which would fill all the imbalance that's on the chart over here. And then we can start to use that as a base for support for a move higher again. However, when you look at other charts, okay, the volume profile is really quite different. So in spot, most of the volume has taken place up towards the highs here. However, if you're looking on perps, you've got a situation not so much on this chart, it's on some of the lower volume exchanges, where if you do look at the overall POC, then it is slightly lower. So you have 64K, 63K, 62K, all giving you high volume nodes on various exchanges. So if you are to look on the Woo chart, for example, we have a situation where we're essentially split into two ranges here. What I would consider as a sign of strength is to reclaim that 67,800 level, which takes you back outside of value area for the whole range, and then we can be anticipating a move higher. And then we have this lower range where we've got that point of control at 64K, and we're still waiting to see that move down there. You can see from this, we are trading outside of value from this upper range. We are also trading outside of value for this lower range, but we have been caught within value area high on this overall range. So we are just still, as we were yesterday, stuck in the middle, the market a little unsure where it wants to go from this point. Like, okay, have we gone low enough, or does we still need to be seeking further in order to just continue this pattern that's been going on? It is just one of those indecision moments from the market. Every move that goes up gets retraced. Every move down gets a bounce. As a day trader, you can trade both sides of the market relatively well, but it is just, from a higher time frame perspective, one of those things where it's just sometimes easier just to sit back, allow the market just to play out at this stage. When we have a look on the Bybit chart, so again, slightly different volume across everything. Then once again, we're below that POC, making our way down towards value area low. And once again, we do have those 4-hour gaps, which we were anticipating would get filled. So there's the 4-hour gap, there's the 1-day gap. Okay, we are looking at this zone here as being the support, the main support. Now on all exchanges, including spot, we have dipped into that and we are seeing a bounce. However, I do feel that it's likely we fill this whole area before getting that major recovery. So a lot of repeating the same thing of choppy, sideways and down overall, until we see some kind of strength that doesn't get immediately reversed. And it's going to be quite easy to spot this, okay? Because what have we had over the past couple of weeks? We have had this situation where every move up gets retraced and then some on top of that. So we go back all the way to CPI last week, where we had a move up. It was retraced completely and made a lower low afterwards. We then have these spikes up, which then continue to go down. A move up on the Friday here, which then goes down. A move back into this point of control over the weekend, which then again makes a lower low. The move up yesterday, which came into, once again, we had resistance up here. We didn't take out the highs, so another lower high has made a lower low. So until we see one of these pumps that doesn't retrace fully, then I would expect more of the same. If we do see a situation whereby we come up here and we take out some highs and it holds, then that leads me to be looking for longs, to be looking for the liquidity above, because there is a lot of it. All right, if we do look at the order flow in a minute, then there is a lot of it. But the only thing that would get me bullish right now and would make me start looking for longs, some kind of reversal here, like you can still long, okay, we took out the low, that would actually have been a really nice long. It happened overnight, I didn't catch it, but it would have been perfect. All right, this is going all the way back here to the 16th of May. The low that was put in there, where we do have the daily gap, where we do have the 4-hour gap, okay, that would have been a fantastic scalp long position. All right, we have seen a bounce from that, but what we have seen previously is that these moves will eventually end up retracing in full and creating another lower low afterwards. So for what I'm looking at now, I think that this bounce could see a little bit more. If it does come back into daily open, weekly open, that could be an area in which to look for short positions again to take it lower, and then we will see what happens then. If, of course, we can reclaim, start to take out some highs, then the order flow, the whole price action, and just the flow within the market does start to change significantly, and that is when you can start looking at something to hold on to. What else is there to say here on the chart? There's not a huge amount. When we are looking at let's just break this down, and we can just add on the session volume profile, and we can look at the MPOCs if these load up quickly. Oh, trading view is laggy. There we go. Okay, so once again, we did see the situation yesterday where we had a big move down, and on spot it didn't take the lows, on perps it did. So very, very similar to what happened right up at the high, where perps took the high, spot didn't. So there is still significant liquidity above this 71,980, 72K level that I do think can be taken. And a similar situation yesterday where it didn't take out the lows. That created this double bottom to take out liquidity that happened overnight. And similar situation, okay, the move up yesterday did not take out the highs. Okay, so there is liquidity above those highs. Now, from a volume perspective, all right, we've had a move down. There is the NPOC up here. So once again, this would be this zone here where I would expect a bounce to happen. Usually, because New York sessions have been bullish lately, we could be looking for that move here, but ultimately I still think lower is slightly more likely until we see any major change. Now, looking at if we, I'm going to sneeze. Am I? Whew. Okay, where was I? Let's go and look at some order flow and that kind of thing. So we can look at things locally, right? We are seeing a situation here where we are in fact getting maybe some slightly bullish divergence here on perps, where we see the CVD is continuing to bleed this morning. However, remember, we have taken out these significant lows and we have seen a recovery. So I do think that this recovery can go a little bit higher. We are saying that spot is okay. It's trading, well, the CVD here is slightly above what perps are doing. And then when we zoom out, all right, it is just, let's take a look. Then, yeah, through New York session, generally speaking, because legacy markets are incredibly bullish, we're not in that like scenario where every time New York opens, markets dump. It's kind of the opposite right now. So we do see this bid that's just consistent throughout New York session. Will that happen again today? Because remember, legacy markets are at all-time highs, whereas yesterday they were seeking new all-time highs. So we may not see that same momentum through legacy markets that can then flow into Bitcoin and crypto again today. So yeah, overall, CVD is kind of choppy here. All right, we had that big move up, and then it immediately gets sold off overnight once the market's shut. If we look at, again, the bigger picture here, looking at the liquidity, there are bids down here. Okay, there is significant interest in this holding, and where we have the big imbalance is down at 63. So there are basically down here, you have stacked imbalances, a lot of volume to drive price higher. I would imagine a lot of those long positions are still open, and they are going to be more institutional in characteristic or whatever. because that's where you have a lot of volume down there. It will be surprising to see those lost whilst it remains there, basically. Okay, so unless we're going to see a big bounce, it will be surprising to see a movement below that area. So I do still think we're okay. Like, this is the right zone to be bidding into, and we are seeing a situation where we have open interest declining on the move down, we have net longs positions closing out on the move down, and we have net short positions opening on the move down. So with that, there is shorts to squeeze. If it can get a recovery, then it can start to squeeze them. But we have not seen a recovery yet. So there is nothing. I've mentioned this a lot of times, we are awaiting that spark. And that spark does not seem to be coming from anywhere right now. Every time you get a little hint of it, oh, yesterday, hey, we have a nice bullish New York session. No, the only reason it did that is because there is a correlation with legacy markets, and they were bullish yesterday. As soon as the market closes, poops itself again, right? And it just is that same thing. So we need to see a spark that is sustainable, that can actually start to reverse price, and I don't see that coming at the moment. Okay, I think this is a few weeks away still before that happens. So long, slow, time capitulation, slow summer, that type of thing. The overall, but again, I don't want to be all doom and gloom, okay, because we are seeing that just. If you look at the prices and you look at where things are, we are seeing that negative funding is creeping in again. So we have a spot premium, we have negative funding. That can remain for a very long time. All right, this could carry on like it did previously for, when was this? 13th of April, all the way to the 20th of May. So a good 6 weeks. And then again, we're here, 12th of June. This could carry on all the way up into the like middle to end of July, and we could still be within this range here, still have this premium, still have this negative funding, still being able to accumulate, right? And then later on in the summer, once everyone's returned from their holidays, once the football's over, once the Olympics are over, once the Wimbledon's over, everyone returns back to their charts and then suddenly becomes interested in crypto once again. So no reason to be like macro bearish here at all. It's just right now, conditions are not very good and it needs a cool off. And I think actually that's the healthiest and the most bullish thing that we can have. I'd spoken about this before. If we just go back onto, well, I can stick on this chart. I had the idea that we would come and take out all-time highs and then do this over the summer, right? But the fact that we still have highs to take out does mean that when this does start eventually moving, it should be a clean break and it should not look back. So it does make things easier when that reversal does happen, right? So yeah, we'll see how it goes, but long, slow summer, time capitulation, allow the market to play out. Then when we start getting that momentum back again, what we would like to see is if you do stick around, okay, it can be slow, and then you get this build up and most of the market doesn't realize it's happening, all right? And then pop, you get that move afterwards. That is essentially what I am anticipating for this. And we have history of this happening before. So I am going to wrap this little segment of the stream up in just a second so I can post this as a static video. But we do have history for this. Go back to the last halving, okay, before the last market cycle ran up, where we had essentially similar kind of price action, and you had this just bleed. All right, so we're probably looking at price being, all right, you had some gaps here to fill, this kind of thing. We're probably looking at price being around here right now. Maybe we get a bounce, but then just slow, boring, sideways, and then it starts to creep up, and no one really notices that it's creeping up, okay? Because by this stage, 6 weeks from now, everyone's fed up, all right? There's memes won't be pumping anymore. Altcoins will be at like new lows. Everything will be over. Everyone will be bearish. We will have gone from that fear no, we will have gone from that anger stage of the market that I think the market's currently in to a pure depression. And then no one will notice that this is going on. And then suddenly they're like, oh my God, Bitcoin's at 88K. And then everyone comes flooding back into the market. And then what happens? You just need to go, nah, fuck off, wipe them all out, and then you go for the big run once more. So that is, we could see something very, very similar. If I just want to say like, okay, last little random thing for this video, time capitulation, long, slow summer. All right. Then everyone's fed up. Okay, it's not going to last that long. Forget it, because that takes you all the way to the end of the year. But long, slow summer, towards the end of July, creeping up, creeping up, creeping up, creeping up. Oh my God, we're bullish. Everyone comes back to the charts. Bang. No, dead. And then we go. Yeah. let's see. A bit of fun. But on that note, I am going to wrap up this part of the stream and this video, because once again, why is it that every time I do this video on the stream, or any time I do an update on the stream, it's like 20 minutes long, and then when I used to do static videos, they were like 10 minutes long. But hey, I hope that was useful for you, and yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments and everything, and smash up the like if you're watching this on a video, and blah 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 and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to press stop on record. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.